Hello, I'm Jamie Bleakley,
And I'm Crystal Vermeyer.
and together with our husbands, we own A Better Tomorrow Therapy and Wellness in Anchorage, Alaska. Our weather right now is just starting to warm up. The weatherman's saying like we're on an upward trend. We're starting to see grace
right now when we're recording this.
starting to see grass, and getting excited about park days.
It's snowing on the mountain, but we are getting excited about park days. So for the last 2 summers, we decided that we wanted to spend some time outside. And instead of just like, we had some therapists that kind of were excited about it. We're like, what if, instead of like the ones that just kind of want to do it and are excited about it, what if we just did this as a clinic? And we kind of just social experimented it, but like all in social experimented it 2 summers ago. And then we did it again last year because it was such a success. We tweaked things a little bit, but we decided that we were going to take the entire clinic, front desk and everything. Billy gets to stay behind and because it's a little easier for them to do computer stuff at the billing desk, but and go to the clinic or go to the park. And so we have an entire day where everyone's appointments that are for that day are at a specific park. And so we rotate through days of the week, and we rotate through the different parks so we're at one park all day, and then the next week we're at a different day, different park. And that went really well. There was a lot of fun things. There was a lot of concerns going into it. There was a lot of hesitation and nerves from some therapists, and rightfully so. They've never had to navigate parks before. Like, I've done groups, the other therapist that really wanted it, she's done groups. We've done a lot of stuff at the parks. So you've come to the parks and done stuff out in the community, but not everybody had. And so they hadn't seen the success of it. They hadn't seen the value in it. And so they were focused on the nerves and the scaries instead of all the positives. Those were kind of secondary for them. But it turned out to be really, really good. And so we kept it going, and we're coming up on summer. We have the plan. I've created all of the little calendars, and social media announcements are ready to go. So once it happens, I'm going to try to get those pre-scheduled and everything. So I'll just be super set for summer, but we're kicking into gear of being ready for another summer of park days. So we want to talk about it.
So with our park days, it runs for 8 weeks during the summer. Like Crystal said, it's one day each week, and everybody goes. One of the things that I absolutely loved that I didn't necessarily expect was watching our therapist out in the community and watching their creativity.
Yeah.
We take limited amounts of toys. We usually have like one tote that has some balls, some frisbees, some chalk, bubbles, some kites. But watching the creativity that they have to have, and to use their skills, and to use what's in the environment, and to follow a kid's lead.
Mm-hmm. And play together. There's even more play together than it happens in the clinic because there's less space and more space at the same time. Like you have just the playground and an open field. So.
And we go rain or shine. So with that, if you are a parent coming to our clinic, dress your kid appropriately. And so the first summer we went was a rainy summer. So we did have a lot of puddles. I have pictures of my kid with another child their own age, like swimming in mud puddles, and they were having a blast. They were so dirty and gross when they were done, but had a great time and got to see movements that they don't typically do in their physical therapy session. So that was neat to see.
We did a lot of puddle jumping. It's a lot of fun.
With that too, we get to see our kids, and it was surprising to see kids that have been in our clinic for quite a while are very comfortable. They kind of own the place. They know where everything is. They know all the therapists. When you take them out into community, some of those kids froze. Mm-hmm. And we got to see some of the kids that aren't as outgoing in the clinic setting come out and be more leaders. Mm-hmm. So that was fun. Like the one time I saw, it was a child that has autism that was like, come on, let's do this. And all of a sudden, all of this language came out of him that you don't typically hear. And he was coming up with plans. He was doing all this, while another kid who's typically looks pretty good in the clinic had no idea what to do on the playground.
Mm-hmm. And it's really fun because it's a community experience. And so sometimes you show up, and so does the daycare that's going to be there with 20 children and 4 adults or whatever for the next hour or something.
Or the company picnic.
Yeah, so like
with their bounce houses.
You never know what's going to be there. Nature can be there. Sometimes we've had animals that we've had to kind of watch out for and pay attention to and stuff like that. So we do our best to mitigate all that things, but that's real life. And so it's getting out into the community where like we can't just get what we want because the therapist is going to allow us to like coordinate the situation. Sometimes it's just another kid on a playground and the parents may be paying attention, they may not. It may be an entire school of kids that are there for day camp. And so just watching how that unfolds a little bit too, and getting those real life opportunities for these kids and the therapists to be able to help navigate those situations and to be able to play socially with just a average everyday peer that's at the playground. It's been really neat to watch all of the different things unfold.
We do have some of our favorite playgrounds that we go to yearly. We also try to throw in new playgrounds, and it's also fun to watch parents that either they didn't think they could take their kids out into the community like this and into an open play field because their kids tend to run.
Rightfully so. Like they're cautious on purpose.
Yeah. So it's a safety issue. So watching parents be able to be like, hey, that went really well. I've had other families that are like, they come to the park and they're like, we live 2 blocks from here and never knew this park was here. So it helps open the eyes of families to know what's out in the community. We have so many great parks and playgrounds, and they're all different. And each little neighborhood has like these little parks hidden within them that some of them are super cool. Mm-hmm. And they have different slides. They have different swings. They're all a little bit different, but all very nice parks. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're really lucky in Anchorage for like having the trails and having the parks and having all of that kind of be connected a little bit too. So most of the parks that we go to, a lot of them have a playground equipment and somewhat open field, but most of them also have walking paths and trails. So you're able to kind of just walk and navigate. One of them's kind of along the coastal trail, so it's right along the inlet, and so you can kind of just go and walk in either direction. And that's really fun for some of like the older kids that are like, I don't want to play at the playground. And so it's like, cool, let's go for a walk, and we can do a walk and talk and like work through different things. And, or the little kids that sometimes they just want to run. And so be able to have that space where we can just keep going and then working on turning around and coming back. Or the one park that I have in mind that's on the coastal trail goes to like a little estuary where you can see a bunch of the birds and like there's signs and things that you can go and read and stuff like that. So there's a lot of cool things to explore in the park and in like the close vicinity of that.
We've had some of our older kids, like the week before they know they're going to the park, make a scavenger hunt for other kids.
That is fun.
So we're working on their writing, we're working on their pre-planning, they're working on their working memory of like what sort of things do you think you'll see at a park. Mm-hmm. And so setting those up and having other kids go and do the scavenger hunt and see how many things they can find. We've had groups while we're at the park and had them play those old school playground games like a Foursquare or like a Ring Around the Rosie type game.
And turn taking on the swings and stuff like that. Like just, there's so many good things.
Kind of fun. The one year we were playing Catch the Mouse and had kids from crawling age up to our bigger kids, and even watching the therapist like, oh well, like the crawling kids, they can't play that. Oh, they absolutely could crawl in and out of that mouse trap and follow the other kids and do the follow the leader, and they were having fun, and the older kids can help the younger kids. So we're working on that social interaction and awareness of others and helping and being a part of the community, building relationships.
Yeah, and it sparked a memory of like last year. One of the parks was in downtown, and if you've been in Anchorage, you know that there's homeless around. And it was a morning appointment, and we were walking on a trail, and there was a camp, and so it was like up on a hill. It was separate, and the kids like what's that? And I was like, it's a troll. We can't wake them up. So just like making some of the like less fun parts of the city be more fun and be more exciting. And it was like, okay. And it happened to be like that it was up on a hill next to a little like underpass of like the railroad station or the railroad tracks. And so it was a troll and we had to go around and we had to go under the bridge and we had to go. So we turned it into this whole like play sequence, and it wasn't scary. It wasn't like drawing negative attention to the situations of other people. We just kind of like let it go and moved on, and the kid had a blast with it. He thought it was funny. He came back and told people about having to be quiet to go by the troll, but it was just navigating real city life.
But with that, the real city life, we do our best for safety. Like we do go past the parks ahead of time, try to see what the situation is at the parks, if there's additional people there. We have some of our male staff that are there throughout the day, off and on, that kind of come through and parole and help us keep things safe.
Yeah.
We travel in groups, so try to do things together. So we keep safety in mind. Again, nature, like if somebody spots a bear or a moose or whatever, they do report back so we can let other people know the area that wildlife is hanging out in, which is outside of our control. But also, if you're moving around Anchorage, you are bound to run into something.
Yeah, there are a lot of animals that live in the city.
So, we do try to get parks throughout the city. So we do east side, west side, Midtown. I don't know that we're going downtown this year.
We're going near downtown, like near the park strips type area,
Okay.
but not the same park we were in before.
A little bit south side, not too far south.
Yeah, there was a couple of them as I was putting them in and doing, gathering the data, like the materials to hand out. I was like, where's that? And so I like had to go and check it out. And I was like, oh, okay. So there's even a couple on, like there's several that I know, some that we've been to either because I've gone there with my kids or other groups, or we've gone there before. And then there's still a couple that I'm like, I don't know where that's at. Like, let me look it up. So I'm excited for summer to be able to partake in some of that.
We found they're good for all disciplines, like whether it be balance and walking up hills, down hills, being able to stretch those muscles, doing that, climbing, hanging.
Even just laying out on, like, having a picnic and, like, being out on the blankets. Like, we bring a couple blankets and stuff out there. Or, like we said, the kites and the bubbles and chalk, and having the parks that have places where you can use the chalk safely. Like, there's some of them where, like, we started with the alphabet and then we started with other things. And, like, throughout the day, everybody just kind of layers on their drawings on top of other drawings. And so that's super fun. Some of the parks are near water, and so it's the opportunity to talk about water safety and like all of those different things. And they can splash around on the edge if they have the right gear and the clothing, and the parents are like, yeah, that's cool. So some of them are.
I do like the layering part of things too. We had one park that we went to that the kids throughout the day were camping and building campfires and building forts, and they were moving logs back and forth and building things and working.
And Torchy had a big hill. Like, there was a lot of that stuff was at the top of this like hill behind the playground equipment. So it was super fun to get a lot of good work. And they didn't think they were working, but they like worked so hard.
And it was fun to watch the different ideas throughout the day, because like the original campfire started at like a 9 o'clock appointment, and at 3-4 o'clock they were still moving stuff around and building and changing things and adding. So it was nice to see how one person's idea early in the morning continued to evolve and get more creative throughout the day and build on that. So these kids are super creative, and we need to allow them to do that and show us and kind of follow their lead.
Well, and I think the park days shifts everything up for everybody, that it just creates that space for like, let's see what we're going to do. Like, what are we going to do today? Because as therapists, we don't have the same materials. Some are more confident than others in that space. And so it's just figuring it all out and then letting it unfold, giving it the space to try something new. And you know what, if it doesn't work, like if it's absolutely terrible and it's not working, we could always end the session early. We can always make a change. We can, figure things out, but let's try it. And so it's been really good. And this will be our third year.
And I'd say even I had a kid who was more medically fragile, and she was in one of the like little spinny cups, and I'm kind of daintily spinning her around to give her some vestibular, and she had like a 3 or 4 year old brother who's like, oh, woo! And I mean, she loved it.
Yeah.
I would have never done that to her, just thinking like she's tiny, she's young,
She's a baby.
She's very cautious in her personality.
But she's got a G-tube, like
yeah, she's got a lot of medical stuff going on.
Like,
and when her brother did it, I'm like, whoa! But like she's laughing and having a great time, and I'm like, oh yeah, like that's what a child her age typically would be doing. She just doesn't have the ability to make things go that fast because of her size and her abilities. But it gives us a chance to kind of step out of that zone and see what these kids really can do.
and see what we as therapists could do. So like for those ones that are like, I don't know, especially that first year, like we're like, it'll be okay. Like we've taken whole hordes of little children all out into the wilderness and done these things. Like we got this. Like there's enough other support that has done this that we knew that it was going to at least be worth a try. And it turned out really, really well.
So those of you in other communities, take into consideration, like get your kids outside, enjoy that fresh air, get that vitamin D, and that change of environment is huge. And a lot of fun. So lots of benefits to getting outside, exploring your community, and giving kids a change of environment.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you for joining us. Hit that like, share, comment. We'd love to hear from you, and subscribe button. We'd love to have you follow us. Thank you.